Order! Order! You are an incorrigible delinquent at times. Behave yourself, man!
On Tuesday night, President Obama will deliver his farewell address in the city of Chicago. It's where he claimed victory 8 years ago in an historic election that put the first African American in the White House. But as his second term comes to a close, what will his legacy be? Well, in the first of his special reports from the BBC's North America editor, John Sopel, he looks at the domestic issues that have defined the president's time in office.
It wasn't just the hope when Barack Obama came to office, it was the wild expectation too, that the country's problems would be solved at a stroke, that the first African-American president would usher in a post-racial era. No more black America or white America, just the United States of America. But the lingering vestiges of that dream disappeared in the summer of 2014 in clouds of tear gas in a nondescript suburb of St. Louis, Missouri, called Ferguson. An unarmed black man had been shot by a white police officer. It was a pattern that would become all too familiar. In Charleston, South Carolina, Walter Scott had been pulled over for a minor motoring offence. Footage captures the white police officer who stopped him, shooting him in the back several times before he dies. The policeman claimed self-defence. At his trial, which ended last month, the jury was unable to reach a verdict.
The court, therefore, must declare a mistrial.
Another symbol for the black community that things haven't changed.
You know, I think his legacy to him is more important right now, to paint a picture that he did a real good job in America. But most black folks are very disappointed because we feel that he could do more.
The issue of race and another of America's great intractable social problems, gun violence, came together to horrific effect inside this famous African-American church in Charleston. A white supremacist who, with his string of drug convictions, should have never been able to purchase a gun, walked inside a Bible study group and killed 8 worshippers and the pastor in cold blood.
Barack Obama had always seemed reluctant to define himself as a black president preoccupied by racial issues. But after these shootings, that changed as he came to Charleston and showed how he felt the community's pain.
Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved.
Obama's 2 terms in office were punctuated by the crack of gunshots.
Newtown 911, what's the location of the emergency?
Sandy Hook School. I think there's somebody shooting in here.
An endless series of random mass killings that started with the slaying of 20 children and 6 of their teachers at Sandy Hook Elementary School. The president's famously cool demeanor was gone after this.
Every time I think about those kids, it gets me mad. And by the way, it happens on the streets of Chicago every day. I refuse to act as if this is the new normal. And this is not something I can do by myself.
Such violence, such evil is senseless.
Again and again, he wanted tougher legislation on gun control. But he failed, to his evident consternation, when we sat down and spoke.
If you ask me where has been the one area where I feel that I've been most frustrated and most stymied, it is the fact that the United States of America is the one advanced nation on earth in which we do not have sufficient common sense gun safety laws.
But there have been some legislative successes. Millions more Americans now have health insurance than was previously the case, although Obamacare has created many losers too. And the economy, which was flat on its back 8 years ago, is starting to boom. And people are spending their money again.
We have not just come back stronger from the Great Recession, we have actually built an economy that's the envy of the world. And that is an important part of President Obama's legacy.
Hello, everybody. Happy New Year.
But it proved to be a voterless recovery where it mattered. There'll be no Democrats succeeding him in the White House. And so one of his final acts was to make a last journey to Capitol Hill to urge his party's lawmakers to fight off Republican attempts to dismantle Obamacare and the rest of his domestic legacy.
Look out for the American people.
John Sopel, BBC News, Washington.